guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm finally going to be doing my updated 2019 foundation routine. I realize this is highly overdue and you guys have been asking for it for a really long time. So happy to be finally doing it. Now, a couple of products have definitely changed since my foundation routine last year. Obviously, the setting powder will be a big change, and actually the foundation is a change too. I still absolutely love and adore the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. It is still hands down one of my all-time most loved and most used foundations, but for whatever reason this year I've just been enjoying like slightly lighter coverage and slightly, I don't know, products that feel like a little bit more lightweight on the skin. So yeah, you're going to be seeing that in today's video. So yeah, if you've got oily textured skin like me, if you have struggled to get your foundation to last all day, you struggle to get your makeup routine to last all day, and this is going to be really helpful for you. All of the products that I'm using today and showing today are super long wearing. They'll keep your skin looking perfect all day long, really nice and flawless and smooth, shine free, non-caking, non-separating, all of that. And also I have included drugstore options as well. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing my 2019 updated foundation routine, then please keep on watching. Now, first up, I always like to make sure that I am definitely using an SPF. It's really important to protect your skin from the sun, especially here in Australia. Pretty much one UV and you're like frazzled down here, like it's really full on. This by far is this is for sure my favorite SPF for underneath makeup. This is the Dermalogica Oil-Free Matte. It does offer an SPF of 30 and it controls shine during the day. It's really lightweight. It wears so well underneath makeup. I usually use about that much. It goes a really long way on my skin. And it's also part of their active clearing range, which means that it helps to like fight breakouts and, you know, pimples and blackheads and things like that. So we know that I'm prone to that. So I pretty much put a very light layer of this on the skin. As I said, that amount on my finger is more than enough. Like it will certainly do your whole face. And then I like to give this, not ages, maybe 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to sort of settle in. It will, like, it kind of like sets into the skin. It doesn't leave any residue on the skin. It leaves everything really nice and matte. I'm sure that you are like me and you have tried to wear SPF underneath your foundation and it's just been a hot mess. There's a lot, like 9 out of 10 SPF products don't work underneath foundation, but this one's perfect. Completely matte, dries down, no residue, and it's so nice on skin. Like nearly already, that's completely like dried down. Can't even feel it. So now I'm protected. Now the primer is one thing that really hasn't changed. The Hourglass Mineral Veil. This is primer heaven. Like this is goals. This is as good as it gets. I still absolutely swear by this. It really smooths the skin. It really lasts all day long. It really helps to control shine. It makes your makeup glide on really well. Everything blends over the top of it perfectly. Cannot recommend this anymore. Absolutely swear by it. It also helps to minimize pores, which I absolutely love. But if you are looking for a drugstore option, cannot recommend this one by CoverGirl anymore. This is the CoverGirl Pore Minimizing True Blend Base Business. It's got a bunch of different names. CoverGirl True Blend Base Business Pore Minimizing Primer. It does have quite a few different names. I will link all the products in the description bar down below, but I absolutely love this as well. This will do pretty much everything that this one does. I just still prefer this one more, but I have been using this one heaps. Really swear by it. It's a great primer and it's really affordable, obviously being drugstore. So obviously going to go ahead and apply this primer. I only use a tiny little amount. I don't know, about this much, whatever you call that. And I pretty much dot it all over my face. And then with the excess on my hands, I sort of really gently start to press it into the skin. Don't rub your skin, don't rub your face. You'll basically just cause texture. You'll also cause your foundation to not look as smooth by doing that. You really want to make sure you're pushing the products in and not like scrubbing your face. It's a hard thing to sort of train yourself not to do because everybody does it, and it's sort of, we do it like almost instinctually as well. Don't do it, it's bad. Just want to push it into the skin and create a really nice smooth surface. It's better for your skin too, like it's a lot more gentle and yeah. Okay, cool. Now, one thing that I always do because I am such an oily skin type is I actually do like to put a very light sort of dusting of loose powder. Got to be a translucent one. Do not be using like a colored, you know, powder foundation or anything. Just a very light dusting over the top of my primer. It helps to control the shine, but it also helps my makeup last longer and look smoother during the day. It's like a really amazing thing. Now, to do this, I'm obviously going to be using our Nikki Ajoy Cosmetics setting powder. the one product of 2019 that's literally changed my life. And I know people are like, well, of course you would say that it is, you know, it's a product that you developed. But honestly, go and read all of the reviews, go and read the testimonials, go and read the feedback. It's not just me like this. It's amazing. If you can't get your makeup to last all day, you can't stop the shine, you can't control the oils, you can't hide the texture, and you just, like, you're so frustrated, just try this once. I promise you, it really makes a huge difference. I will talk a little bit more about the powder when we actually get to the powdering part, but I just take a tiny little bit on a brush, just like a big fluffy brush, not heaps, and very gently pat that over the skin. And basically you just want a very, very light, thin layer over the top of that primer. You don't want to like bake, you don't want to necessarily set it down to the point where it's completely matte. You just want a very, very fine, thin layer. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to help block the shine before it even kind of hits your foundation. It's going to control oil, it's going to keep everything really nice and smooth, and it's going to extend the wear of your foundation. All things I think everybody wants in their foundation routine. Now, next up for foundation, I have two foundations that I do actually switch between on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, I've been more into foundations that are more sort of lightweight, and then I've been building up coverage where I need it with a concealer, as opposed to using a full coverage foundation, you know, over my entire face on an everyday kind of a basis. And these are the two that I've been obsessed with. So firstly, the Dior Backstage Face, I think it's, face and body foundation. I love this. This is a customizable foundation, so you can either do it really, really lightweight for a really natural finish, or you can build it all the way up for full coverage. Medium coverage, it probably is fairer to say. It lasts so well. It wears beautifully on the skin. It really doesn't separate or cake up or go really, you know, like janky when your oils do come through. It doesn't necessarily keep you matte all day, but it's nearly like the oilier that you get during the day, and it's not like sweaty oily. It's sort of like glowy, like really flattering oily. But yeah, the glowier it gets during the day, the prettier it looks. It's phenomenal on the skin. I love it. And the drugstore version that I've also been wearing probably just as much is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid. This one pretty much does everything that this one does. It's not as buildable as the Dior. This one's sort of like a light to medium coverage at all time, but it's so fresh and lightweight on the skin. Neither of these feel tacky. Neither of these feel heavy. They feel really breathable and natural. Both beautiful foundations, but obviously this one's a lot more affordable. I love them both. Swear by both of these for everyday wear. For this video today, I'm going to be using the Dior one, and you do need to shake it up. Like it's a very liquid formula. You can probably hear that. This one's like a little squeeze bottle, and I pretty much just pop a little bit on the back of my hand, and that is what I will apply. Now going in with our Pro Perfecting sponge. This is a really soft blending sponge, and we created this one with micro pores. So the pores in the actual sponge material of this are a lot smaller than pretty much every other sponge out there. I personally haven't seen the same sort of density material used in another sponge. Basically what that does is it gives you a much more flawless airbrushed finish, but it also helps the sponge to absorb much less product than most sponges do. Now, obviously that's a good thing, especially when you're using a Dior foundation. You don't want half of it to end up in the sponge and not on your face, because it's expensive. Now I'm going to apply this all over my skin, but it's not going to be like, I'm not going to actually build it up to more of like a medium to full coverage. I'm actually going to keep it sort of more of like a light to medium coverage. I probably still have hair color on my scalp. I tinted my roots. I always end up with it everywhere. Yeah, it's definitely still on my scalp. Now, obviously, when we are choosing a foundation shade, we want to be matching all the exposed skin. So don't actually match your foundation to the color of the skin on your face. So obviously the skin on my face here is a lot paler. I obviously do self-tan, but my face is covered in foundation most days, so it actually doesn't really see the sun that much. You don't want to be matching your foundation to that paler color, because you will be a floating head. We've all been there. We've all been there. It's really not, it's not that flattering. So just make sure that you are actually matching your foundation to your neck, your chest, and any other exposed skin. So when you're going into a store to even, you know, shade match, don't shade test on your hand, you know, on your arm or on your face. Actually do it sort of like under your chin on your neck here. That will give you the closest and most accurate match. All right, so I've got that foundation blended out over the skin. It gives such a beautiful, like fresh, healthy, glowy kind of a finish without being too shiny that it looks fake, and also without being so matte that it looks fake. I also love that you can still see parts of the skin through it. It's just a more natural but very flattering finish. I just love the way that it looks. And then I like to go in and actually build up a little bit more coverage underneath my eyes and usually through the center of my face, and also highlight with a concealer. Now my current most loved concealer is this one by L'Oreal. This is the L'Oreal Infallible More Than Concealer. It's called I think full cover for those of you in the United States and in Canada. Infallible full cover, I'm pretty sure. But I can't say that this is like the product of 2019 because I've only been using this for probably 4 weeks now. I've pretty much used it every single day. But, you know, throughout the earlier parts of the year, I did have some other favorites. So even though this one is my everyday, current, absolute must-have, for the rest of the year, I've always been using the Born This Way. This is their multi-use super coverage concealer. Very similar products, really full coverage, creamy concealers that don't crease, don't cake, that last during the day, that look beautiful on the skin, that will cover pretty much anything, but without feeling heavy and just really awful on the skin. Like, they're both beautiful, but like I said, since discovering this L'Oreal one, this has been my absolute go-to. It's pretty much an exact dupe for Tarte Shape Tape, and actually Shape Tape is another one. Oh, I love that concealer, such a good product. But I pretty much put 3 dots of this underneath the eyes, and then I put like a little, I don't know, upside down triangle thingy up there, put it down the center of my nose, and then also on my chin, and that's more than enough for me for everyday wear. That's enough for really good coverage to really brighten, but again, without feeling heavy. So taking the same sponge, and I'm going to work that in. Also for reference, these sponges swell up really quite big, and the Pro one that we've got has a flat side on the top, which makes it really great for blending out concealer and for applying powder and things like that. It's also great for baking. Makes it easier. For reference, and I mean this one is filthy, I'm sorry, that's how much bigger that they get though. Like, they really do swell up so much bigger. This is my one from yesterday that I have not washed because she's lazy. So blending this concealer in, I love this one because it's really creamy as well. It's not like a hard concealer to blend in. If you've ever used like really full coverage concealers, sometimes they're just honestly an absolute nightmare to blend into the skin. You feel like you're blending forever and like nothing is happening. You'll also notice that I sort of like blend it over the top of the eye to correct any darkness. And this is just like my everyday, honestly. It's quick and it's easy and it looks good and it lasts. I should also mention this concealer is waterproof and it lasts 24 hours. So it's a really, like, it's like a life-proof product. It's not something that you're gonna have to worry about after you've applied it. Once it's on, it's on. All right, now that we're all concealed, we're going to be setting everything down, obviously going back in with our Velvet Finishing Powder. So like I said, this is a powder that actually blurs the skin. The technology in the way that this is milled, it's actually triple milled, which is different to most powders, which are only double milled. The technology in this actually gives like a blurring filter to the skin, and it will help sort of smooth out pores, texture, fine lines. It minimizes all of that so that the skin looks really nice and smooth. Also contains 6 really, really amazing, powerful skincare ingredients. So not only while you're wearing it will it actually control the shine and, you know, make everything look perfect and lock your makeup in all day, also hydrates the skin and looks after the skin and actually prevents the oil occurring in the first place by keeping the skin at a more hydrated level. It's got vitamin E, it's got coconut aminos, it's got aloe vera, it's got vitamin A, it's got sweet almond oil. Like, it's packed with goodness. Now pretty much with this one is what I like to do is take whatever's in the cap, same sponge, you don't need to worry about cleaning it or anything, just go straight in, and you want to pick up that powder on the sponge, and you will see a side-by-side difference here as I do this, but I basically push the powder into the skin, and what this does is it locks everything in really, really perfectly, but without leaving like, you know, a white cast on the skin. And I do carry it over the eye to set down that concealer, but you'll see as I do this, this side of my face where I'm applying it in comparison to the other side will look really perfected and really, really airbrushed. And suddenly, like, I don't have pores, and we all know I got pores. Continue pushing it into the skin. It is translucent. It's great for all skin tones. That's a question that we do get a lot. You know, if you've got a deeper skin tone, is it safe for you? It is totally safe for you to use. And this will lock everything in up to 16 hours of like perfect shine-free wear. And you'll notice too, it feels incredibly smooth. And that is again, the technology in the way that it's milled. But hopefully you can see the massive difference on this side of my face. Powdered, pretty much airbrushed, flawless, photoshopped. And this side does look really nice and smooth still, but you can still see the texture. You can see my enlarged pores. You can see the texture on my eyelid here, on my forehead, on my chin. It's a lot more visible. The powder really blurs everything out. So I'm going to finish the other side now. Again, carrying it over the lid. Now this isn't baking. If you do want to bake, by all means you can. It is very easy to bake with this powder and it works brilliantly for that, but I don't find that I need to. I find that actually pushing this into the skin really locks the foundation down. It really locks down even the primer, makes everything super, super long lasting. It stops caking, it stops creasing, it stops separation during the day, and it hides shine and texture way, 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 way better by doing it this way. And then lastly, to make sure everything is super, super locked in, like if I'm going to be wearing my foundation, say for example, 15, 16 hours, which quite often I will have to, lock it in with a setting spray. You guys already know the GERARD Cosmetics Slay All Day Setting Spray is my all-time favorite. Years later, still my most loved, most used. Absolutely swear by this stuff for stopping your makeup from caking, separating, getting shiny, melting off, transferring off. Pretty much nothing is getting through this guy. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I still do have that special code JOYBOGO. You can actually get 2 full-size setting sprays from them for only $22. Basically, you get 2 for the price of 1 kind of a thing. Now, I did actually collaborate with GERARD Cosmetics a few years ago and created the rose setting spray with them. I love anything that's scented rose, but if you're not a huge fan of rose and you don't want to get the rose one, this comes in so many different other flavors, like cucumber, jasmine, they've got watermelon, I'm pretty sure. Like, there's so many different other scents. Then they're all beautiful, but for me, the rose one, oh, love. Now, pretty much like everything else that I've used today, you don't need to go crazy and like completely saturate your whole face and your whole head and then look like a drowned rat. You only need a small amount of this. So I just sort of spray it up to sort of prime it, and then I'll usually do 3, and I hold it back like quite far, so like that, and then I just let everything air. Oh my god, it smells so good. I love this. I let everything air down, and don't touch your face while the setting spray is wet. You'll pretty much muck up everything that you've just done. You really need to give it a chance to actually set down properly. And once you've done that, girl, your foundation, your concealer, your makeup's not going anywhere. Now, usually I do my bronzer, my blush, my highlighter, my eyes, my eyebrows, all of that before using the setting spray. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just showing you the base routine. So yeah, this is what my skin looks like all done. It's covered, but there's no cakiness. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't feel heavy. My skin is mattified, but it's still got like a sort of like a healthy sheen of a glow to it. You can still see my natural skin peeking through that foundation. Like, it's not just like super heavy coverage, but at the same time, it looks really flattering and smooth, and it's pretty much everything that I want in my foundation. I love this routine. Like I said, it's been my everyday, and the drugstore options that I gave you are all just as incredible. Like, truly, oh, amazing affordable products, and they actually work so well. So I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing my updated foundation routine. If you've got any more questions about anything that I have spoken about or mentioned, please pop them in the comments section. Really, really good products, and like I said, the drugstore options work just as well as the higher end ones, so it's completely up to you what you want to get. Yeah, and I know a lot of you have got the same skin type as me, so I know that this will work for you. And like I said, she is locked in tight. You're not going to have to touch up. You're not going to get halfway through the day and be like, oh my gosh, my foundation is caking up and separating. You'll be able to feel confident all day without having to worry about touching up, which is really what we're going for. But I love you all so, so much. Give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will catch you guys in my next one.